what makes it very calm, what makes it very calm and enjoyable, I think, is the entrepreneur herself or himself. And it's always what happens in the inside that decides what happens to them in the outside. And as an NLPer, I think I strongly believe in this logic of what happens in the inside is what decides what happens outside. And to substantiate this belief, we have two amazing entrepreneurs with us who are going to share a slice of their life. It gives me immense pleasure in introducing our very first speaker for this evening, Ms. Chandana, an MBA graduate from the Acharya Nagarjuna University. She hails from a very strong entrepreneurial legacy as the daughter of Chandana Kedarish Garu, the co-founder and MD of Chandana Brothers, one of the most trusted names in the textiles and jewellery industry across Andhra Pradesh. Her deep desire to see pollution-free India led to the birth of Avira, the first electric scooter manufacturer in Andhra Pradesh, launched by our very own Chief Minister of Andhra Pradesh, Sri Chandrababu Naidu, together with her better half, Dr. Venkataramana, founder and the CEO of Avira. She has been in the forefront of research, design, and development of EVs best suited for Indian roads. Her leadership and dedication have brought innumerous accolades to Avira, including the 𝒃𝒐𝒐𝒃𝒔 Award for the Best Startup Innovation, the Startup Award for Industrial Development, the Fastest Growing Indian Excellence Award, and the Best Company in Automobiles Award by the Chamber of Commerce. Welcome, Chandani. Welcome this evening.
Thank you so much for having me here today.
Thank you, Chandani.
Aruna.
And our second guest for this evening is Ms. 𝒃𝒐𝒃𝒔, a seasoned business leader who thrives at the intersection of analytical rigor and entrepreneurial agility. With a career spanning over 23 years, Shweta has mastered the rare ability to centric business growth. Before entering the retail space, Shweta spent over 18 years in the high-stakes world of investment banking. As the director at CRISIL, she led global equity research teams, providing the intellectual backbone for international investment decisions. Her tenure was defined by her ability to manage large-scale global operations while delivering the precision required by the top-tier financial institutions. Shweta's leadership philosophy was further forged in the fire of entrepreneurship as the owner of Little Millennium Franchisee, running 2 centers in Chennai over the last 13 years. Today, Shweta serves as a driving force within the 𝑨𝒃𝒐𝒃𝒔 group of companies, a rapidly growing company in the space of textiles and gifting. Having successfully scaled the gifting division, she now spearheads 2 of their primary textile businesses, merging her deep analytical background with fast-paced demands of e-commerce and modern retail. Welcome, Shweta. Welcome, and thank you so much for joining us this evening. Can't hear you, Shweta. I think you're on mute.
Thank you, Sriram. Thank you for the opportunity. Lovely to be part of this session. An absolute pleasure meeting all of you. Thank you so much and look forward.
Thank you, Shweta. And it's now time for me to introduce our anchor for this evening, our very own Director for Learning and Development, Ms. Aruna. Welcome, Aruna, and over to you.
Thank you, Sriram. Thank you. Many of you are regular in our L&D sessions. So thank you for joining this session as well. We welcome you to this special session of International Women's Day on the eve of International Women's Day. And particularly those of you who could make the time at 6:30 on a Monday evening, we thank you all. I promise you it will not be a serious session. I'll try to make it as fun and as honest, informal as possible. Okay. With this introduction, with this context, I want to introduce the first segment of this session. I designed it like a rapid fire. So who wants to go first? Should I go with Chandani or Shweta? Just
Anything is fine.
Anyone? So, okay. We all are keen to listen to their stories, right? So before that, I just thought, why not make it a little bit fun? So my first question for Chandni would be, one word that comes to your mind when we say entrepreneurial mindset. Don't think too much, just what the word that
It's
comes.
opportunity. No need to think about it.
Opportunity.
You need to grab the opportunity. That's it.
Okay. What is one daily habit that strengthens your entrepreneurial mindset?
Learning.
Wonderful. In one word, what quality is non-negotiable for an entrepreneur?
Resilience.
Okay. We've got three powerful words for our toolkit now. So let me thank you, Chandana. And that was really rapid fire. And I now go to Sweta. Sweta, one word that comes to your mind when we say entrepreneurial mindset?
Success, perseverance,
Success, perseverance. What is one daily habit that strengthens your entrepreneurial mindset?
consistency,
Okay, awesome. And in one word, what quality is non-negotiable for an entrepreneur?
being a student, learning every day.
Being a student, a learning mindset. So we already have six powerful words to begin this evening. And so just my curiosity as a coach would be, see, every entrepreneur journey has that one decision point, right? Where we take that pivot to entrepreneurship to start. So I would like to know from you, Chandana, what was that decision point, especially knowing your journey, moving from familiar textile based businesses, retail businesses to manufacturing AI mobility is quite a shift. It is, in fact, a total pivot, right? So what was that moment or trigger that led you there?
Yeah, actually, my parents were into textile, but being girl childs in a family, we always have the privilege of, golden spoon, feeding, nice education and all, but never we were allowed into business, that is for sure. So, however passionate we were stopped in the middle. Now, my sister actually, she was very passionate about entering into business, so she got married very early. Then I understood that yes, definitely there is no entry for us. But my passion is always towards arts rather than entering into the business, I would say. After completion of my graduation, I pursued a course in VFX, and then I've been offered at the very nice jobs. At the same time, I met Ramana soon after we got married, and our first kid was born. So it was all very fast. Ramna already had a startup. He started his entrepreneurial journey before our marriage itself. So he already founded biometrics facial technology. That was his first startup, and he was also involved into solar energy. From the beginning, when we had this interaction, he used to say about his strong passion and zeal for manufacturing. So after marriage, I think I had to, in that point of time, I had to make a choice. One is to pursue my passion and build my career as a VFX artist, or to stand with my husband and support him and to be an entrepreneur. I think I became an entrepreneur by chance, and that is how Avera was born in 2019. Our electric scooters were the first electric scooter manufactured in Andhra Pradesh. So as you mentioned before, it was launched by Nara Chandrababu Naidu Garu. So that was my complete shift from after marrying my husband. I think my entrepreneurial journey started after my 30s.
Good to know. Good to know. Usually, there is something in every Women's Day or that, people post after marriage or after children, my career has sort of come down or something. It's good to know that after marriage, your career has taken off.
I very much specify this point because everybody will think you need to do something immediately after your college. No, there is no need like that. That is the reason I said opportunity. I just got the opportunity after my 30s, entering into the business, and then I said yes, and I just grabbed the opportunity.
So I think we also thank you, Chandana, for highlighting the role of men. And so a big kudos to all the men here who support the women
Yes.
in their lives on this Women's Day. So Shweta, I come to you. We heard about Chandana. For you, your journey was different. What made you both an interesting combination here was Chandani was from a business family, as we all know. Shweta was a total pivot like us. Most of us were from corporates, and then she went on to be a franchisee for Little Millennium Schools and also now leading Machi. So, what prompted you? What prompted the pivot, Shweta?
So I think one thing that's very common about me and Chandni is that my entrepreneurial journey also started after my marriage. So I come from a very conservative middle class background, right? So my parents always encouraged that, studies is everything, education is everything. And post my MBA, getting into a job, doing very well there. getting back salary home was what I learned and grew up with. But I think largely my entrepreneurial journey was driven again by my husband. After my marriage, when our son was born and we were scouting for a good preschool for our son, that's when I think we came across Little Millennium. And that's when my husband said, why not we start a franchisee of this? So I was completely new to a business world. So that's again very contrast to Chandni, because Chandni, I'm sure, would have seen how a business environment looks like and all that. But for me, it was completely new. So I think the initial days was a nightmare for me and my husband. I still remember the first call that we got for an admission inquiry, right? Saying that we had given an ad in paper and they called, and we're like both of us running to the phone and, just about to pick up. Okay, here is a first customer calling us. So I think it was very, very exciting journey. And early childhood is something, I'm very, very passionate. It's been 14 years for us in this business, and a lot of learning and extremely satisfying, right? When you're dealing with children between, say, 2 years going up to 6 years, you get to nurture them. You get to kind of literally, the brain is like a sponge. And whatever you kind of feed to them, they don't know what is good, what is bad. And whatever you are able to mentor them in a positive way, then I think they absorb. And there's very quick development that we see in children. I think that way it's very, very satisfying. So that was my first journey into entrepreneurship. And obviously, having spent in parallel to my corporate job, so my corporate job was, I was a director with CRISIL, so I've handled global operations. Then again came an opportunity, again given by my friend, very close friend. So they lead Prashanti Saris. I'm not sure how many of you have heard of this brand. It's one of the rapidly growing brand. We're part of the 𝑨𝒃𝒐𝒖𝒕 group, and we have 4 business lines. One is into saris, next into gifting. The third one is into ready-made, and fourth one, again, a recently acquired brand called Manmandir. So now I lead the Marchi and Manmandir label. So I was taking care of 𝑨𝒃𝒐𝒐𝒕, the gifting business. So again, coming from a finance background, getting into retail was completely new. E-com retail was new. But I think I've always enjoyed challenges that came my way, and I've been very passionate to learn and drive things. So that's largely about my journey.
I can see from what you shared, both of you, that passion and that coming through when you shared with us. And on a lighter side, we always say behind every successful man is a woman. But here, behind these 2 successful women are there men. So once again, goes to prove that marriage is no impediment to having your own career success and all. And I hope this video will go to all the Gen Z kids, including my own daughters, who think marriage as something, a big commitment and not comes out in the way of career. So moving to our next thing, you know, when you shared, it's clear that this journey of entrepreneurship is not only about taking the opportunity and acting on it, but also consistently working on your mindset. It's so, Chandana, this question is for you. I would asking Shweta the same. When you entered this entrepreneurship line, what mindset shifts or habits that helped you navigate the uncertainties and keep you moving forward? I'm sure,
Yeah.
despite being a business family, sorry, you might have had your own challenges, right? So just wanted to know about that. What habits helped?
Yeah. Like Shweta mentioned, I was born and brought up in a complete business family because Chandana Brothers was started 60 years back. So every holidays we used to go to the showroom. We used to do the packings. We used to do the billings. We used to be very excited. But that was just as a children. I think after being as an entrepreneur, the main thing what I have changed myself is I stopped thinking as an individual and I started to think as a problem solver. Because I am heading an organization with electric mobility space, I think that is a completely new challenge organization. So technology, manufacturing, customer expectations, and markets keeps on changing each and every time. So I think you need to take the decision very promptly and very accurately. Otherwise, everything will be collapsed in seconds. So, and that helped me to learn continuously, because understanding the technology and market trends is really not easy, because EV is one space where, technology is just rapidly growing and changing very fastly. And mainly you need to have long-term vision. For every business, I think long-term goals are very important. Electric scooters are not only just for selling, right? I think you're contributing something for the society. You need to keep that in mind. The main thing what we have done is we have collaborated with some amazing companies, and we had a great team. From day one, we have chosen a team which is very trustworthy, and because few technologies can't be revealed outside. I think we more focus on teamwork. Um, so I think these are the few points that, shifted my mindset as an individual to an entrepreneur. Yeah.
Wonderful. I hear problem solving and long-term goals with a higher purpose, not just solving the immediate problem, and collaboration and teamwork, Chandana. So hope to learn more about you when we meet offline next about this
Definitely.
teamwork and all. Shweta, the same thing question for you. When you entered this entrepreneurship, what mindset shifts or habits that helped you navigate the uncertainties and kept you moving forward?
So, yeah, thank you. That was a very good question. So, in terms of mindset change, I think one is definitely perseverance, right? Success and failure both are part of anybody's business journey. So very difficult to say that any entrepreneur has reached success without seeing any failures. So if there are 10 good things happening, there are two or five or sometimes even more not so good things happening. But one thing that we need to constantly ensure and let that failure not affect us mentally, because once that happens, I think we fall down very easily. So perseverance is very, very important. And passion, grit to important is to always have the end goal in mind. Okay, what is that we are here for? There will be thousands of distractions that can come our way. There will be thousands of people who might, not let us achieve and go through our goal. But it doesn't matter, right? It's about our conviction and it is about how we want to lay that road to success. And obviously, it's teamwork, right? Nothing happens single handedly. Ensuring that we are setting the goal, we are setting the vision, and ensuring that we're getting all our people on board to ensure that we are able to achieve that vision, I think is very critical. So that mindset change is very, very critical if you want to be a successful entrepreneur.
Well, what I got from your is sharing is perseverance and always having the end goal in mind and ensuring everyone gets to be on board. So that I think is a common theme which I observed from both of you when Chandana talked about collaboration and having the team, right team, and you making sure ensuring everyone is on the board. So just a follow-up question on that before we go to building a ecosystems or whatever. I just had a thought. See, when you are building these ecosystems and all these things, when you face something, you talked about resilience, perseverance, and all. When you face some setback, what helped you again move back to that positive, mindset, or what helped you move back to again going, keep going? So, any one of you can take this.
Yeah, I think for me, my husband is the founder of Avera, so he is my biggest backbone. We both used to sit and talk, like, what are the situations, current situations in the manufacturing, where did we go wrong? So we have each other's back all the time. I think even after coming back, we'll be like, okay, let's take a couple of hours break and we'll start watching a movie. But again, in a movie, there'll be a scene which is again connected to that business, and again we'll be pausing that, and for some time again we'll be getting back to the okay, let us do this. Maybe sitting and talking, I think you get with a peaceful mind and all. You'll definitely get a solution. I think family also plays a very important role to keep your mind peace and calm.
Wonderful. Family was the main backbone. Shweta, what is it for you?
So I would say it's three sets I would divide, right? First is definitely the family, right? So there are good days, not so good days. I always say my husband is my punching bag, right? So whatever happens, I come back home, share with him. Obviously my father has been a pillar of strength for me as well. I think whatever I am today, I've been able to focus on my career so much, and my job always involved extensive traveling. And I think my father always stood by me. And off late, I would say my son as well. He's in grade 10. He just finished his board exam. But I'm quite amazed that children of this age are quite mature compared to how I was when I was in grade 10. So he's able to give a lot of insight. So that is, support system one, which is family. Second is obviously set of close friends, right? Very, very few people who always stand by you, no matter what, are always there for you to kind of advise you. And, when you're drifted, a lot of times we get drifted, we, go on a low. And that's the time when you need a close aid who can give you a third person's perspective, be critical, take that thing and say, look, you are wrong here. That's very important. Sometimes our family always stands by us and gives us the safer option, whereas specific friends can be critical as well. And third, I would say definitely my team, right? Close set of people with whom we work day in, day out, right? So through the entire day, we spend close to 9-10 hours at work, and we end up spending a lot of times with, our immediate colleagues and, peer people. So a lot of times we go to them, and it's like, I still remember one of my junior most resource, she saw I was low and upset, and she came up to me with just a chocolate and said, ma'am, cheer up, it's okay. We need achieve bigger things. She was very junior, but that gesture really pulled me up. So I would say three things. One is family, second is friends, the third is your own team.
Wonderful. So I see the family point coming through. Immediate family, friends, and then the team. So actually, you both sort of gave me the segue to ask my next question about the support system, and you already answered half of it. So my curiosity is that many of us have the friends, family, and all, but you managed to make them your support system, right? So how did you build this support ecosystem, which helped you grow? What helped you build? What measures or what actions did you take to build this system?
Okay, shall I go first?
Sure, Shweta.
Yeah, I think like I mentioned before, EV segment itself is very new to everybody. So it is very hard to find good partners who can collaborate with the EV segment. So we have built a strong supplier connects, and a partnership started growing because we have so many components like batteries, motors, and some critical components. So I thought it is very much important to maintain long relationship with the suppliers and all, because I'm talking in the business perspective because family is already done. So I think next, as Shweta mentioned, motivated team. But critical decisions in our manufacturing are taken by me and Ramna only. So, but still we have the, again, core team. Luckily, Ramna is having two brothers, and his wife's, everybody are working in our manufacturing. We have HR, marketing, and one is heading HR, one is heading marketing, and the other is taking care of digital marketing. One is heading all the distribution channels. So I think beautifully, four people are into our own team. So that is something which is blessing for us. The next one is, I think we need to stay connected with the government and policy ecosystems. EV sector is growing, right? So the policies also keep on changing from state to state. We need to thoroughly understand, and you need to have good relations with all the government officers. You can't just go on, if some signature has not been done, you need to be very patient, and you need to move ahead for that. So, like I said, you need to take the customers' feedback also. I think that helped us a lot because when we started two-wheelers EVs in Andhra Pradesh, we have a wonderful, amazing, top-notch R&D research. But what are the road conditions here? They are completely different, right? So it always change whatever you think. I think all these are very crucial. Yeah.
Thank you. So beyond family, what I say is you've been lucky to get some family in, as key members of your team. Apart from that, what stood out and what was a takeaway for all of us is that you invested in long-time growth partners like your suppliers and all, and then you staying connected with policymakers, especially in such businesses as yours. And not last but not the least, customer feedback and listening to customers. Shweta, is there anything you would like to add when you're building your support system? What did you do?
See, one thing that's so the one thing that's very important and very similar to what Chandni said, right? I think in our team, no role is big, no role is small. Okay. Trust is a basic factor that can really help us move forward in a much faster way instead of doing everything by ourselves. So obviously, we are here to lead, we are here to guide, we are here to make decisions. But sometimes it is very important and critical to decentralize certain decision making abilities so that things get done faster. Obviously, nothing goes without a consultation or a brainstorming. So one thing is empowering people and building that trust is very, very critical to ensure that we are able to achieve the milestones faster. That is very important. And ensuring that people feel valued, right? So if we have a manager in the team, the manager should not think that I'm an employee of the organization. That ownership has to cascade right from us going up to the grassroots level. Even if it's a junior most person who's just joined the team yesterday, should always feel that they are part of the company. They have to be associated and they should be able to relate to the bigger vision of the company so that in front of customers, we have one team, right? It's never about me as a person as Shweta or, it's about one person's name. It's about the company. So we all represent that company and our vision on what we want to achieve, I think should cascade right from the top to the bottom so that we are one team to achieve the goal.
Wonderful. So I like the way you both beautifully brought up different aspects of entrepreneurship. Chandni, from our experience in manufacturing, that she brought out the operational aspects of it, of team, long-term growth partners. Well, Shweta, you mentioned some of the terms which are common to us as coaches, trust, empowering people. You mentioned the behavioral aspects and ensuring the team is one. So I'm sure there are a lot of takeaways for all of us from here. So this year's International Women's Day theme is Give to Gain. We all know that, right? And there have been a lot of articles on Give to Gain means to each one of us. There have been a lot of things going around in LinkedIn and we're all talking about it. So just in my reflection of Give to Gain, how I understood was it's really about the mindset of creating value first. You create value and it could be manufacturing as Chandana does or retail and millennial, a play school business, which you do, or a lot of us coaches do, like offering our time, ideas, or, as coaches and mentors supporting. And we don't expect immediate returns, but we really see that once we support, the help the client gets from us will give us again. So basically, that is how I understand that, And my thing was always that trust and I always trust that growth and opportunities follow when we give. So I would like to know from your journey, from your experience as entrepreneurs, Shweta, how has this idea of giving first shown up in the way when you build your business?
So there have been people who have been associated with us from day one, and by God's grace, they have traveled this journey with us, and obviously a lot more to come ahead as well. So as I said, entrepreneurial, anything for that matter, right? I don't think we can ever say that I did it all. So it never works that way. So when I was at Vetri, I always used to say it's always we, and Vetri also starts with we, right? So irrespective of what role we are playing, ensuring that we give back is very, very important. It can be giving credit, it can be giving opportunity, it can be rewarding them in a way that means to them. Um, so, making them feel valued, I think, is very, very important. And unless there is a give, I don't think we can move forward and make an impact. So it is always we, and we need to give. And this is not to show to anybody, right? It needs to be part of the culture. It needs to be part of the organization. It has to be something that we need to breathe day in, day out, to make sure that people feel that I am here to do some great work and make an impact. So it can be smallest of work, it can be biggest, it doesn't matter. But I think that's very critical.
Thank you. Chandani?
Yeah, I think give and gain philosophy has played a powerful role, right? So, first, giving to the society a greener, cleaner mobility. That is what our aim is all about. So, I think we will be definitely gaining out of it. And secondly, as Shweta mentioned, giving the opportunity to your team. Like, you give the freedom, you give the freedom of expression, and you let them speak, you give the opportunity, so definitely the productivity from them will be definitely more. I think most of the points so Shweta covered, because we both are into the same entrepreneurial journey, though it is manufacturing, and the first rapid fire questions, 3 words, na, I think it all covers everything. Everything is revolving and rotating around the same points. I think Shweta answered all my points.
Great that you both are in sync in this. So, at this point, I would like to take an opportunity of another example of give to gain, our own ICF, the ICF chapter of Chennai. So, it's been 10 years this year. We celebrated the 10th anniversary. And our endeavor, whatever be the board which has come, our endeavor has always been to help the coaches grow, help them in their personal and professional development. And give to gain is rather giving has been a big part of our chapter fabric. And that's how we were able to build a wonderful community of coaches, who support us, who give us space to make mistakes, who support us, who encourage us as we are there. Okay, this initiative might be not exactly worked out the way you wanted, but we are there, keep going. So I take this opportunity to thank even all the ICF Chennai community. Thank you for acknowledging our efforts. And yes, it's good. Our aim is to help our coaches grow. And I'm happy and proud that I'm part of this chapter and I got an opportunity to host you. I think I get a little bit emotional and diverted. Let me come back to the chat here again. So, this would be the last question. Don't worry, I'll not quiz you more. I'll leave the rest to the participants. This will be the last question I ask. So, as many of our participants here are coaches and professionals pivoting into coaching and also solopreneurs who might have big ideas of moving to probably entrepreneurship, making them big, so what advice from your side would you give our participants and our coaches? How can we think and act like entrepreneurs and sustain our coaching businesses or whatever businesses we are in? Shweta, would you like to go first?
Um, Sorry, I had a break in your voice.
Okay.
Can you just repeat the question
I
once to me?
said, what advice would you give our participants and our coaches who want to think and act like entrepreneurs?
Okay, okay. So I'm not really sure if I'm that big enough to advise, but my 2 cents on this is, pursue your passion. I think being passionate about what you're doing is very, very critical, because it's not about doing it for 1 day, 2 day, 3 days, right? You need to do it for eternity. And unless you're passionate and you're enjoying what you're doing, it's going to be very difficult to be an entrepreneur. As I said, success and failure are always part of the game, but you need to be very, very passionate about what you're doing. And one mantra that's always worked for me, is that I always think I'm a student. A lot of times, if I don't know, I do not shy to come and ask, no, I don't know this. Can you please help me on this? Okay, never think that you know everything. There'll be 10 things you would know, there'll be 1,000 things that you would not know. So, willingness to be open and to learn is very, very critical. And last thing I would say is never worry about the outcome. Okay, we all need to enjoy the journey, and we need to go through that path, and I think that is more important rather than outcome. The outcome can be good, sometimes not so good as well, but enjoying that journey and ensuring that we are happy and we are taking people along with us, in a very positive and a happy environment, could really give immense satisfaction.
Wonderful. Chandani, you have anything to add to
You.
that?
Yes, from my side, I will tell what I have done, because when we started into manufacturing, we had made a business plan. Like, I went to my dad and said, I want to start something. He was like, what? What are you saying? That is what anybody will say. But if you really want to do something, I think you need to have a plan plus 5 years. You need to have a long-term plan also. I think nobody will tell you this, but how important entry plan is, exit plan is also very crucial, and which need to be mentioned in the business plan, because even though you're having losses, people will be like, they will be pouring into the business and they will still keep running. Array, it's okay, let us see how it works out. But I don't think that will work out if 2 years, 3 years, if you're not gaining what you have put into. I think it is time for you to exit, because suddenly if you everything will be collapsed if you don't come out. And second one is, you need to start small. These days I've been seeing that people are investing more on marketing and advertising rather than on the product. Think first product or whatever you do. I am saying product because I'm that kind of mindset person. So whatever it is, focus on what you're doing rather than the output will be definitely awesome when you are into it. So start small, and later in the second or the third stages, you when you expand, then you go too much into rigorous marketing. And the third thing I would say is networking. It is all about networking. I think you are the only sole person who can go into the people with your voice. You should be the face of the product. Yesterday a TV channel came and they've been asking since a week, and I'm very stage shy person. I'm not gonna camera shy person. I'm not gonna come. But my husband said, I think you are the face of Avera. You should go and speak about it. So that really hit me hard. Yes, because I can speak better about my product rather than putting somebody else over there, right? So that opportunity I turned into a company promotion. Maybe I can say that, because in my story, it is more about Avera, right? So that is how networking plays a very crucial role. You need to meet people, you need to go out, you need to get connects. I think that is how I met Aruna Garu also. So I think these are the three main important things which I have observed in my entrepreneurial journey, and I would suggest the same for you too.
Thank you. Thank you very much for that advice. What I hear, just to sum up, I hear from Shweta on, being open to learning. In fact, in her rapid round also, she mentioned about that, being open to learning and continuous learning, being a student every day. And then, of course, she talked about consistency and perseverance. And Chandana, I loved your points about having that entry plan as well as the exit plan. And maybe as a coach, I would look at it as maybe a different pivot, because there's nothing like exiting coaching. Maybe we would look at what is working and what is not working in the
Yes.
business of coaching. And then I love the way you spoke about networking. Yeah, I'm also a big proponent. In fact, I met Preeti like that in the network. I met you, and now I'm meeting Sweta. So networking is important, and all of our coaches are always encouraged to network. Just say, what are you doing? What exactly is coaching and all? So that's what, right? Nobody will come to us. So beautiful points you brought to both of us. And yes, thank you, both of you, Chandni and Shweta, for such authentic, wonderful sharing and a lot of practical insights. And what your journey reminded me is that, one word that came to me is courage, courage to step out, to put yours out there and see, just do it and see, okay. As the journey goes on, you can recalibrate your plan. And then, of course, you also talked about community and impact. So thank you again, once again, for your time and all. So Sriram, it's over to you now for the
Thank you,
next
Thank
session.
you,
Aruna.
Aruna ma'am. I think that was really very nice questions. I think just by speaking with you right now, I think I got an opportunity to reflect on my journey. So thank you so much for those beautiful questions. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you, Aruna. Thank you, Shweta. Thank you, Chandani, for some amazing and, like, I'm going to borrow the word from Aruna, authentic answers and insights on what the journey of an entrepreneur looks like. Would love to open the floor for questions. We have at least another 10 more minutes. In case any of you'd like to ask any of your questions or doubts, please feel free to do so. Would anyone like to ask any questions? Okay, I'm going to set the ball rolling. I have a question, Chandani and Shweta, and I think you have in parts covered this in some form or the other. The question that I have is, many of us, from the coaching space are embarking on this solopreneur journey, you know, from corporate pivoting into being on our own, creating an impact in the society. And when this shift happens, like Shweta, you have gone through from a corporate into transitioning into being an entrepreneur, and so is the case with you, Chandni. Now, what are some things that we got to be very careful about? But because I think one of the biggest challenges that many of us face is, when we step in, the fear of the uncertainty, right? So if there was, I don't know if I can call it a checklist, but if there is a checklist that you would like to prescribe to solopreneurs, what would that be? Anyone can take this question. Or rather, both of you, I'd be very happy to.
So more
Yeah,
than,
should I go?
yeah, sure. So more than checklist, right? I would say just be courageous. Okay. So as I said before as well, there could be a lot of things that can pull you down. There can be a lot of diversions and people who can drift you from your goal. It doesn't matter. Sometimes we are very excited about something, and what happens is literally on the contrary, right? It doesn't matter. But I think that determination to pursue your goal is something that we all need to be 100% stuck to. So this is one. Second is, irrespective of whether there are, success or failure, embrace whatever comes your way with a lot of happiness. Okay, even if there is a failure that is coming your way, it is very important to make sure that there is a learning out of it, and probably that's going to help us handle that or a similar situation in a better way tomorrow. So
Sure.
embracing your failures, and finally, I think being humble and grounded. So success should never take us, mentally higher.
Right.
Yes, be appreciative of success. After all, we all like to be happy. We all like success. But being humble and grounded is something that's very, very, I would say, an important component for an entrepreneur. I've seen a lot of people being successful, but bring that kind of also comes with a lot of arrogance at times. If
Right.
that comes in, then I think it becomes very difficult. So being grounded is important. That's what I would say.
Thank you, Shweta. Thank you so much. Chandni, your thoughts?
My thoughts is, to be honest, I have understood people who are your people, because when there are times that, I've gone to meetings and, my parents used to call me, you need to choose right kind of people. You will understand your mental, your emotional health should be very much fine. There were days when
Hmm.
I broke down because few of my close friends, they just avoided me because I had some important work. They didn't understand, many things happened. I think only at this stage I understood the right kind of people will stay with you. So you
Nice.
need to share all your things only with the right kind of people. If somebody talks sweetly and nicely, you like, hey, I have an idea, can I share with you? I don't think that is needed. You need to very much focus on who are watching, who are right for you, who are not. Somebody may come and again, they may backstab you. You need to be very cautious about people. I have gone this personally. So anything can be under a watch, but people who are really close to you but backstabbing you is something which is an all-time watch for you. That is what I
Sure.
suggest.
Thank you, Chandani. Thank you so much. Okay, I'm going to go back to the floor. Any questions? Anyone else?
Or maybe Shriram, we can always invite
Yes,
some
I think Krishna has a question to
Krishna.
ask,
Yes,
if I'm right.
Krishna.
Yes, Krishna.
Yeah, see, okay, first of all, this has been a great session, Chandni and Shweta. It has been really inspiring to hear very authentic journeys. Uh, Nobody is trying to use this as a digital marketing exercise. You have just come across as very authentic here. But one thing that actually strikes me is this is a IWD forum. This is about Women's Day, right? So recently I was reading about Indra Navi talking about her experience where the day she got her CEO announcement, she just came home and then she was excited and told her mom. I think you might have read somewhere, you know what her mom asked? Hey, did you forget that milk packet? Did you get it or not? Likewise, how do you juggle both these hats? You might have your family of entrepreneurship, they might all be part of your board. Doesn't matter, but there is a home and there is a business. And many a times it's not easy when things sneaks in between both, right? In either places. How do you draw the line?
So should I go first? Okay. So set your priorities. Okay. So, winning every battle is never important. You're not here to prove something to the world. Okay. Yes, it's very, very important to balance both, right? There are times where you have to let go of your personal time because your business takes a priority and requires that attention. So we need to do that. And on the other side, if the personal time is needed, then we need to do it. I would say I'm still not so good at it. I kind of struggle to manage both. But for example, very recently, so my job involves a lot of traveling, but my son now wrote his 10th board exams. So I said, okay, during his board exams, I would never travel. Okay, whether I'm physically sitting there right next to him or not, it doesn't matter. But I clearly said, no, I wouldn't travel during this time. Whatever it is, I want to be there. So these are priorities that we need to set for ourselves. And as I said, you don't have to prove it to somebody. It is something that you need to prove it to your conscience. You need to be happy. There will be people who will say, oh, you're not doing enough. There will be people who will say, oh, you're doing a lot there, you're not doing so much here. So these kind of things would always come. But to your conscience, if you are able to balance between personal and professional expectations, I think we are good to go.
Yeah, mine is completely contra because I was grew up in a mindset where, after 20, you'll definitely get married and you'll be settled as a housewife. But mine is a love marriage. Actually, I've chosen Ramna. That is why my whole path in entrepreneurial journey, everything shifted very fastly. So I thought success is the only thing that I would tell them. Like, they accepted everything was fine, but still there was a line, that they don't understand, we don't understand. We thought success is the only answer for that. So when I started this journey and when the first article, I would say that the same incident happened to Indra Nuri happened with me also because I was very happy. My article was published in the Hindu and I took this paper and Dad, look what happened today. I was published in Hindu, and they were all like, yeah, they came suddenly. And do you want me to get a biryani for them, or will you go and get it? Something like that. And they were talking about only food and all. But I was all excited to share this picture. So that they diluted it somehow. I just kept it on the table, and that day I was all tears. I cried. See what's wrong with me? I did something. I wanted to prove something. Then Ramna made me sit quietly and understand one point. You are not here to prove anybody. But that was my whole point. No, it was right. No, do it for yourself. First, do it for you. Then success will definitely come in the line. They will definitely understand you. He made me understand the real situation, real circumstances. Then eventually, after 3 to 4 years, Amma, I'm in the meeting. He was like, okay, come after the meeting. Initially, it was like, meeting, it's okay, cancel the meeting. Come, everybody are home. You need to come home very fastly. My brother was at the meeting. He never turned up. I was like, what is the difference? Yeah, they will definitely be the difference. I think that is what I'm trying to change in my family, because mine is a very conservative family too. So that completely changed in my thing. That was not easy to change parents' mindset to accept you.
Thank you, Shweta.
Contrasting
Sorry, Krishna.
journeys, but contrasting journeys and responses, but extremely authentic. Thanks much.
Thank you.
Thank you,
Thank you
Krishna,
so
for that
much.
question. Thank you, Chandni. Thank you, Shweta. Preeti, I think, has a question. Preeti?
No, I don't have a question, Sriram. I mean, I just wanted to add something over here because the question that
Krishna?
Krishna asked, I think I need to add something there from my own journey as an entrepreneur. Definitely, I'm not as successful as Chandni and Shweta, and I have no qualms about it. We all are on our own paths, right? But what I would say, to become whatever success means for you, right? And wherever you are heading to, there is always what Krishna asked, that how do you juggle? Because an expectation from a woman in every household is still very, very patriarchal. Society actually asks us to do, balance it very, one, I'm sure all the women must have received, and men have received it too, and they have circulated it. One WhatsApp message that has a heel on and has a pile on, and they're saying that a woman is juggling both. And I was asking to myself this afternoon, whole afternoon, that not this afternoon, yesterday I received it, and I was like thinking a lot about that how sometimes we as women are also circulating it. It means a lot to kind of juggle. And why is it that we want to kind of take a lot of pride in balancing it out so beautifully? I'm a big proponent of boundaries, and it is a very, very coming from a very authentic space, wherein I feel it is not just for women, but for men as well. We need to have our boundaries very clear and healthy ones. And if we can tell, okay, our business, whether priority or not, but I would like to focus on this. I think men stepping in and supporting you there, to that's the real support we all look for. And so I think juggling, when Krishna asked this question, something that triggered me and I wanted to respond onto that is stepping forward a bit and saying, right now, my priority is whether business or home, and I want you to step up. And probably if I'm going to a meeting, take care of talking to the cook, and take care of. There is no harm. I mean, why do people want to see it as, oh, this woman asked the men to do this? Or men see it, oh, this is not my job, kitchen is your baby. So if we can have a very healthy boundary, have conversations around that, and see that we both are earning, we both have our own passions running in our veins, as it is running in yours, it is running in mine, right? And how can we have a balancing equation, really a balancing equation, not saying that I have to balance this out all the time, right? Women usually put it that way, that, oh, I balance it out. And the question is also asked that way, how do you balance it out? and somebody sharing stories, or Indra Nui sharing, the question is, did you bring that? Did you cook that? Did you? So why can't, as a society, we normalize this, that balancing is to be done by both, and also by the family, and also by the society. If we can normalize that part, that yes, women come forward for their businesses and they stand up for that, and they ask and seek support whenever needed, and that's not bad. We in our own skin as women start to feel bad about asking something, because it is so much in our DNA. We have seen our moms doing it, our in-laws doing it, or whatever. So I think that's where it comes to me as creating those healthy boundaries, both sides, having conversations around it, and then being able to balance it and asking for that balance to people who are around us. That was just coming to me, and I thought I would share it.
Thank you, Preeti. Thanks so
Thank
much.
you.
I
I'm
think
very proud to say that we have that balance at home.
That's very nice. Love, I'm sure that is why you're so successful, Chandni. Without
Yes.
that balance, it doesn't happen.
I would definitely give half of the credit to Ramna for that.
Mhm.
And what I really liked was, despite the fact that the words used were very different from many people, the message was pretty much clear in terms of having your priorities in place, having your clarity of thoughts, and making sure, of course, you have that kind of a support system, whether it's in the form of a family, whether it's in the form of friends, or like what Shweta said, whether it's form of your team. Having that support system plays a vital role. And it's not always about proving to the world. It's always about finding your right balance and making sure that you win in your mind, in whatever form, in whatever, like Preeti said, in whatever way you define success. So very beautifully articulated. Thank you so much. I'm just being mindful of time as well. Thanks to everyone for stepping in. Thank you so much, Shweta and Chandni. And of course, before I say my thank you note once again, I'd love for all of you to switch on your cameras. Maybe it'll be a good, occasion to capture this moment for all of us and our memories. So would love for all of you to have your cameras on just for a bit. And whenever you're ready, I'm happy to click. It's going to be a virtual click. So please have your best smiles on. And on the count of 3, 1, 2, and 3. Thank you so very much. Thanks a ton for being such a wonderful audience. Thank you once again, Shweta and Chandni, for accepting our invite and stepping in and sharing your slice of life with us. And thank you all of you for being a part of this evening. And till we meet the next time, please take care and God bless. Thank you once again.
Thank you, Sriram. Thank you, everyone.